What is up, guys? My name is Sawcasm, and today I have for you an AK47 MOAB playing some ground war domination on the map Underground. And this was actually almost a double AK47 MOAB. It was actually pretty close. I think I died like 4 off, 5 off, somewhere around there. So it was pretty disappointing, but I'll talk about that a little bit later. And this game, using the AK47 extended mag silencer, and you know, the AK47, you don't really see it too much. So my opinions on it are that it's not a bad gun. It's pretty decent, pretty underused in my opinion. I don't think people realize its potential and how you're supposed to use it, because it is an assault rifle, but at the same time, I really like to use it like an SMG. And you see that I come over to this area of the map, and it's pretty much where I control this part of the map for mostly the whole game. For both of my streaks, actually, it's a really good spot. And you can look down that long tunnel that I was just looking down. You do have a medium range weapon, and the AK-47 isn't that bad at medium range. I do like to use it as an SMG. Most of my kills come from close range encounters, some at medium range. It does have a little bit of recoil, but when you do get kicked from the specialist bonus, it does help a little bit with that. So yeah, I try to stay in close range encounter areas, and usually I would control this area with an SMG or something like that, maybe an MP7, a P90, but you know, the AK-47 does work, and on top of that, it does have a little bit of added extra range because it is an assault rifle. But one thing you have to keep note is that its hip fire is definitely not comparable to an SMG. So in terms of, extreme close range encounters, you have to be careful. You want to stay close, but close to the point where you can get your sights up around the corner. You don't want to be forced in a gunfight where you kind of have to hip fire around the corner, because to be honest, you're probably going to lose against anyone who does not have a assault rifle themselves, or anybody with an SMG. You're probably going to lose them. And the SMGs are pretty common on this map, so definitely be careful of that. Be pretty wary, and just take your time around corners. Try to aim down sight when possible. Quick draw definitely helps with that, along with stalker. Together, that's a good combination when you do have the specialist bonus, or even without it, just so you get around those corners. And always be prepared, the whole time. You're always going to have your sights up. You're always going to be one step ahead of the enemy, and that's definitely what you want to do. But yeah, for my first MOAB, I think I was going for a double MOAB this game. My first MOAB, I was pretty much just playing it slow, trying to be sneaky with my silencer, flank the enemies, and play smart as much as possible. And I did make a video on Method Gaming yesterday about playing smart, so I'll link that in the description. And I just went a little bit more in detail on playing smart and what I'm talking about, so you go check that out. I'll link that in the description, as I said. And on top of that, I am playing with a couple people in this game, and they're also YouTubers, Ron Dougie and I'm Gifted, not sure if you ever heard of them, and a couple other people. But a lot of us YouTubers tend to be considered slayers. We're people who like to get a lot of kills. We like to help our team get the objective by kind of clearing the way for them so that they can capture the objective easier. We like to defend the objectives and such. And when you have a couple slayers, more than one on a team, you're kind of like, I'm not saying it's hard to win the game, but you kind of need a balance between slayers and objective players who really like to rush the flags. Because if you have one or the other only, if you only have slayers, then you're really not going to be able to capture flags and get that objective to get that win. There's my first MOAB, my first and only MOAB. I don't know why I said first, because I only get one MOAB this game. I should have gotten 2, but you'll see what happens. But as I was saying, you definitely need a mix of slayer and objective roles, or maybe a combination of between. I like to play kind of a combination of in between, but in this game I was definitely taking up more of a slayer role. I was pretty much eliminating this entire side of the map for the enemy during the majority of this game, so that was pretty much my role. This is the part that I was holding down, and I think I did a pretty good job of locking it down, since this is one of the major paths that the enemy can take once they spawn at A, and we did have them spawning at A for the majority of the game, I would say. And this is a pretty good area to trap them in if they do have A. You could come up here onto the staircase and take them out, and then go down to that tunnel, look down there. Like I said, if you are decent at medium range, or you have a weapon that is capable of that. And yeah, over here you definitely want to be careful, because they kind of do have a little bit of a vantage point on you if they look over to you. But you definitely want to use the cover in this area to your advantage. You have the little staircase, and you just want to use that as a head glitch as much as possible, and definitely do that. But If you only have Slayers, then it's going to be really hard to, you know, capture the flags and win the game, and that's something that my team in this game was actually struggling with a little bit, since we did have a couple of Slayers and maybe not so much objective. Maybe I should have, you know, played the flags a little bit more, but we did get the win, so it didn't really matter, I guess, in the long run. But basically, we were all trying to do the same thing. We all tried to push the enemy back. We all tried to get in their spawn and flank them and eliminate them as soon as they spawn. But, you know, without objective players, it makes it a lot harder. Now, if you have too many objective players, that could also be a bad thing. Real quick, take note, you definitely don't want to aim down that sight line if you don't have a, you know, proficient long-range weapon. Luckily that I get a couple shots off that guy, tag him with Recon Pro, so he shows up on the radar. Then my teammate is able to take him out, because I definitely wouldn't have been able to take him out had I just kept firing there. I'm pretty sure that I would have died, because the AK47 isn't that great of a weapon at longer ranges, so I would try to avoid that when possible. And you see, this is pretty much the optimal range down this hallway that I keep talking about. This is a really good line of sight, and the AK-47 does work pretty well when looking down there. See that guy on the radar, pre-fire him. Oh, if you expect somebody being in a certain spot and you have like a silencer or such, and you know there's little risk to you actually shooting, then there's no reason not to pre-fire. I mean, I know there was pretty much only one guy in that area, so if I did shoot and even I missed, I didn't hit anything, there was nobody there, he was in a different spot of the map, let's just say, and I shot, I had a silencer, I didn't show up on the radar, so I didn't really lose anything, to be honest. You know, nothing that bad came out of it, so in the long run you didn't really lose anything, but at the same time you don't hit any of the shots that you don't take. So just think about that. You know, basically what I mean by that weird saying is that if you don't take a shot, then there's no way that you're possibly gonna get a hit marker. No way you're gonna hit somebody. This doesn't only apply to Call of Duty, this applies to everything. So, you know, as long as it's safe, there's no risk, I would definitely suggest, you know, taking the shot and see what happens. Now, if there was other people in the area in that situation, I probably would have been, you know, a little more careful, and I probably would have actually taken my time and, you know, actually made sure there was a person there before I shot. But there's my death. I probably should have got the double MOAB. I think I was like 4 off. Maybe I could have played that a little bit smarter towards the end, but calling my MOAB. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Leave me some feedback in the comments below. That's about it.